As we're now in the final third of the final season of The Handmaid's Tale, it only felt right that we started discussing the way that certain characters' endings could come about. With Janine, she's been a fan favourite from the very beginning, and all throughout this season we've seen her being the one that's arguably suffered the most and felt the true weight of Gilead. This is with Commander Bell having her right where he wants her and being in full control of her. With no intervention, her ending is only heading in one direction, and it's not a good one. So with that, I wanted to discuss the multiple different endings that I feel Janine could have and reveal how I think her story is going to end. So let's get into it. Here is Will Janine Survive The Handmaid's Tale Season 6? Just to let you know, this video will contain spoilers. Janine's sad ending. One type of ending that I think Janine could be subjected to is one that will leave all of us heartbroken and will add to the suffering that she's endured over the years. If Janine is one thing, and one thing only, then she's a fighter, and if she does end up getting a sad ending, then I reckon she'll definitely go out fighting with all of her might. Over the course of this season, she's been put through hardships at the hands of Commander Bell after he took a liking to her once she was placed in Jezebel's. This was arguably the worst thing that could have happened to her because he was obsessive, possessive, and was set on making her his from the moment that he laid eyes on her. And in following the most recent episode where we saw that she was saved from the firing squad by him because the Guardians knew that he wouldn't want her dead, she's now faced with a fate which is arguably much worse, what's looking like a lifetime of being his handmaid. Suffering abuse day after day whilst also being beaten if she didn't fall in line, something that we've already seen her subjected to after being with him for only one day. The last we saw of Commander Bell was that he said that Janine wasn't ready for public viewing because she'd been beaten so fiercely. And I think with Janine already thinking that she's got nothing left to live for and being faced with no hope at all, that she might end up becoming a victim of Commander Bell's. I think this could happen in a couple of different ways. The first is that Janine might refuse to do what she's being tasked with doing in being Commander Bell and his wife's handmaid, and due to that, he might continue with attacking her, and she might end up succumbing to the injuries that she'll sustain. The mindset that Janine had before June arrived was that she almost didn't see a point in living, and by being Bell's handmaid, I imagine that mindset has only been amplified even more, and it's made her not want to exist in the life that she's leading, without her daughter, without freedom, and being held captive by the closest thing to the devil. So she might just outright refuse and, in the end, sadly end up dying. Another way that I think Janine could end up being killed off in this season is that once Commander Bell and his wife go to Commander Wharton's wedding, June will carry out her plan of looking to rescue Janine from Bell's house, as it was insinuated that that could be the case. And then, once she does manage to rescue her, Janine will join the other handmaids involved in Mayday's plan, and from there she'll participate in the attack that occurs around the wedding where the commanders are set to be killed. I think this is something that has the potential of going very wrong for Janine, especially if Commander Bell catches a glimpse of her being involved. I imagine she's going to be gunning for Commander Bell's blood because of everything that he's done to her, but also because he was probably involved in the killing of all of the girls that she cared about and worked with inside of Jezebel's. The Handmaid's Tale isn't a story that necessarily has a happy ending, and with the way that the show has been going all throughout all of its seasons, it wouldn't necessarily make sense for there to be happiness embedded throughout all of it. So if Janine were to try and kill Commander Bell amongst all of the chaos and fighting that could be happening, and he saw that it was her, he might look to actually kill her and do it there and then. Or he might hold her captive, and then the trial and execution that we saw taking place in the trailer could be of Janine. One other way that I think we could see Janine being killed could arguably be the most upsetting one of them all, when she's on the cusp of freedom. Over the course of this season, we've seen Janine's daughter being at the forefront of her mind and her wanting to survive and also be reunited with her daughter, kind of similar to June with Hannah, with Lawrence being there a bit for Janine in this season due to him taking care of her daughter, and with him also seeing how the other commanders want him dead and for New Bethlehem to be destroyed. A vision of his which is a softer and kinder Gilead. He might well realize that she shouldn't be growing up there, which could lead him to give her back to Janine, as I think he's going to assist in helping her escape Gilead. Commander Bell could hear word of it and follow Lawrence due to him not wanting anybody else to be with Janine. Bell could then put word out and then get them stopped at the border. This could be where Lawrence could end up dying at the hands of Bell, and then also, sadly, Janine too. whilst she's on the cusp of having everything that she ever wanted in the palm of her hand. It would be such a bleak ending for the character. As much as I don't want Janine to die and I want her to have a happy ending, there's something that would be tonally appropriate and fitting for the show for her to end up being claimed by the system of Gilead. Somebody who was put through it, suffered and fought with everything that she had to survive it, but ultimately was never able to find that freedom that she deserved. So there are a couple of different ways that I could see Janine being killed in the show. Whilst her being killed would match the tone of the show, I actually think she's going to survive the ending of The Handmaid's Tale. And a happy ending is what she'll get, as I feel like whilst the ending of the show might still be bleak, there'll be glimpses of light within it, and she'll be one of them. Janine's happy ending. One way that I think Janine will end up surviving the show will be centered around the revenge that she's going to be getting on Commander Bell, June helping her out of there, and also Commander Lawrence's assistance too. I think when June goes to rescue Janine, June will be in complete shock at the state that Janine is in, and then once she breaks her out, she'll have her eyes locked onto Commander Bell. If Commander Bell ends up getting injured in the chaos, Janine might end up approaching him, and a wounded Bell could be on the floor begging for his life as she walks over to him. And then, with the most power that she's ever had in their dynamic, she could end up getting that revenge for everything that he'd done to her and the people that she cared about. Him being killed would almost be a symbolic mark of freedom because he was essentially her captor, and that could then lead her on to the next part that could tie into her happy ending. With Commander Bell dead, and with Commander Lawrence showing a more sympathetic side towards Janine in this season of the show because himself and Naomi have her daughter, I think we could see Commander Lawrence give Janine her daughter back because he knows that it's the right thing to do. And with that, he could end up getting her across the border to safety, something that would allow her to start her new life outside of Gilead for the first time, and to also be reunited with the person that she yearns to be with most. This is definitely the ending that Janine deserves, to be free from the shackles of Commander Bell and also the landlocked prison of Gilead. There is one other way that I could see Janine killing Commander Bell, because if he does die, I think it's definitely coming at the hands of her. Rather than it happening when they're on the streets and the wider battle is taking place, it could be more of an intimate affair, in the sense that once June looks to rescue Janine, Commander Bell could still be inside of the property, or he might end up returning. This is where a fight could ensue, and with June and Janine being there, it might be too much for Bell to fight off. I reckon Bell could maybe be on the cusp of killing June or fighting with her, and then whilst he's distracted, that would allow Janine to get the revenge that she's after. She'd be able to look him directly in the eye and say the words that she's been holding on to the entire time that she'd known him. Janine being the last thing that Commander Bell would ever see, and being told how much of a monster he is, with there just being silence filling the room, rather than the chaos outside. It would be a much more appropriate end for the character. So I think if Janine does kill him, I'd rather it be this way. Personally, I think Janine will get a happy ending. I don't think June, Luke, and Nick will, but I think if any character does, it's most likely going to be her. We might even see Aunt Lydia getting involved in Janine's rescue, as she does care about her deeply. So it's going to be an interesting end with the character for sure. Let's just hope it's a happy one. So, there you have it. Will Janine survive The Handmaid's Tale Season 6? If you want to see every episode on The Handmaid's Tale Season 6 being broken down, then check the playlist below. I've also put the most recent breakdown there as well. How do you think Janine's story will end? Share your thoughts in the comments. As always, thanks for tuning into the video, and I'll see you in the next one.